Hello, everyone, and welcome to Connecting the Dots with Dr. Ashaye, a great place to be if you desire to take charge of your health so that you live fully while enjoying doing what you love. Happy New Year! We're in the first week of the new year, and many of us have made health goals or are making health goals or should make health goals. And we may need to set health goals for various reasons. Maybe you just started new medication and you are not happy about it. Maybe you want to do all you can so you can get off of it as soon as possible. Or maybe you just want to eat healthier so that you feel better. So many reasons why people set health goals. But I've been practicing for a few years now, and I've seen many people set health goals, and I've seen very few people achieve them. So today, if you're listening, you can join those who achieve them. I'm going to talk about practical ways you can set and achieve your health goals. I'm going to talk about what has worked for many patients that are successful so that this year is different, so that you can look back and say, okay, this year I actually made progress. I moved forward. Okay. A lot of it is simple, but don't discount it. You may have heard that what is simple to do is simple not to do. So simple does not always mean easy. So the fact that it's simple doesn't mean that you should ignore it. Try to pay attention to it because simple things often make a big difference. Okay. But before we get into it, you're listening to Connecting the Dots with Dr. Ashaye. I'm your host, Lola Ashaye. I'm a family medicine and lifestyle medicine doctor, which means that I try to reduce the number of medications that people take instead of adding them on. So using lifestyle medicine to treat medical conditions. I'm also the owner of In Touch Primary Care, a membership clinic in Sugar Land, Texas, and I am so excited that you're here. If you are seeking a much more convenient and proactive approach to your healthcare, come and join us. You can enroll at our website, www.intouchprimarycare.com, and you can learn more about us there as well. Remember, you can listen to this episode and all our other episodes on the In Touch Primary Care YouTube channel. Leave comments, share, subscribe, and share with someone that might need this. You never know, it could make a huge difference for them. All right, so we're talking about health goals. Last week, I talked about screening for health conditions, which means that we are checking for a condition when there are no symptoms. It means that the person feels completely fine, and we're still checking anyway because being fine doesn't mean always, feeling fine doesn't always mean being fine. So after last week, I hope some of you went and got your screening test done. And if you haven't, maybe you have plans to get it done. And I hope as many people as possible are screening for testing, are doing their screening tests. And you can listen more about that on the last episode, episode 25. Now, for those that have done their screening, maybe you found out that your blood pressure is a little high, or maybe you've been diagnosed with prediabetes, or maybe your cholesterol is a little bit high, or your doctor has recommended that you eat healthier or exercise more. And now you have a goal that you need to work on for the year. So, or maybe you just want to reduce the number of medications that you're taking. And you know that if you change your lifestyle, that's going to help you do that. So, but whatever the goal is, we're going to talk about how we can go about achieving it. So the first tip I want to stress is, the first thing is focus on one goal at a time. So it's okay to have secondary goals, but it's good to have one primary goal, one that you can completely be serious about, be dedicated to, be committed to, so that you are able to accomplish it. When you're focused on one goal, it makes it a lot easier. You know that, okay, I may have some other smaller goals, but this one goal, this is the main goal that I'm going to focus on for a period of time. And then you do it to the best of your ability, regardless of how you feel. So it's about, a lot of it is just making a commitment to that one goal. And even when it feels difficult or when you don't feel like doing it, you've made that commitment, and so that you are going to do it regardless. So many people that are disciplined will tell you that they're not always motivated to do whatever they're doing that you may look at them and think, oh, this person is so disciplined. It's not because they're motivated. It's usually because they've made some decisions about some things not being negotiable. So they've come up with a plan, they've made a decision about it, and they're doing it regardless of how they feel. So it's easier to start doing something and then let the motivation catch up with you than to try to feel motivated first before you start doing something. So oftentimes, some people might feel like, oh, I don't feel the motivation right now, so I'm not going to do it. Actually, you should just go ahead and start doing it. And then oftentimes the motivation will come after. You get the results when you actually do things, not when you feel like doing it. So if you feel like going for a walk, for example, right? Feeling like going for a walk doesn't give you any benefits except you actually go for the walk. When you go for the walk, whether you feel like going for that walk or not, the fact that you're walking, you're actually doing it, that's where you get the benefit. So it's so important that we focus on the one thing and then decide, make that commitment to doing it to the best of your ability. Focus on one thing, choose a goal, stick to it, and commit completely to it. So with that mindset, that leads to the next step. Now that you know that this goal, I'm actually going to do it, I'm dedicated, I'm committed, I want to do this goal, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. It changes the kind of goals you set when you have that attitude, which brings me to the next step. So when you're setting a goal, a health goal, the other part is think about it in a long-term sense. Don't think about a goal. Think about it like I'm going to think long-term. I say think long-term, but plan short-term. Okay, and I'll explain. So when you pick a goal, think about it like, can I imagine myself doing this thing every day or every 3 times a week for the next 2 to 3 years? If the answer is no, then you may want to adjust that goal, because anything that you're going to do and you're not prepared to do it, or you can't imagine yourself doing it long time for a long period of time, when you stop doing it, you're just going to go back to your old habits, and that's not going to be helpful. You're not going to achieve your big goal. So you want to be sure that it's something you could potentially do for years before you set it as a goal. And this is why a lot of times diets, don't work, because people can be very extreme with their diet, but they can't do it for very long. And then the moment that you stop doing whatever you're doing, then whatever you did, it stops working. It will work while you do it, but when you stop doing it, it works. So it's better to choose something that you know for sure that you can do, and then work with that. Think about it long term. I can do this for a long period of time if I had to, and then you can then plan for a short period of time. So when I say plan for a short period of time, it means that commit to doing it for 1 month at least to start off with. When you've chosen your plan and then you've committed to do it for 1 month, then it helps you make adjustments to the plan if needed. It psychologically just helps you feel better about knowing that there's an end in sight, instead of just not having a time that you're going to do this for. It just helps you be more successful when you say, okay, I'm going to do this for 1 month and then I'm going to go from there. The other thing is that the idea of goals is that they should be stepping stones to bigger goals. So you start with a small thing with the intent of adding on. So you want it to be something that you can see yourself adding to over time. And so if you cannot see yourself doing it for 2 to 3 years, then there isn't much of a point doing it for 1 to 2 months and then stopping and then going right back to your old habits. So think long term when you think about whatever goal you're setting, but plan to do it, commit and plan to do it for the short term, and then go from there. Okay, now the last tip I'm going to recommend is write it down. So very few people write down their goals, but those that do are much more successful in achieving them. They're much more likely to achieve them. And this is true of any goal, but including health goals. So take a few minutes to write down your goal. And when you write it down in the SMART format. So the specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound format. And I'm going to give an example. So you can say, I will eat 1 cup of raw or cooked vegetables with dinner every night for 1 month. So it's specific. You're eating 1 cup of cooked or raw vegetables. It's measurable. It's 1 cup. It's every night with dinner. So you know whether or not you do it. If you don't do it one night, is easy. You can tell very easily. You can measure it. It's attainable. So that's kind of what I talked about earlier, where you're picking something that you know that you can actually do. And I just want to talk about it a little bit more because this is where a lot of people get stuck, where they're trying to do something for the first time and they pick a goal that is way too big. You know, they want to start, they've never worked out before, but they're starting out saying, I'm going to work out for 1 hour every day. Some people can do that, but many people will do that for a month and then stop because it's really difficult to go from nothing to 1 hour right away. It's so much better to just say, you know what, I'm going to start out with 5 minutes every day or 10 minutes every day and go from there for 1 month. And then maybe next month you can go up to, 15 minutes every day. But when you try to do too much at once, it makes it a lot harder to sustain it. So that's the attainable. The relevant, you want to choose something that will actually help you achieve your bigger goal, your overall goal. So for example, if your overall goal is to lose weight, you choosing something like I'm going to sleep for 7 to 8 hours every night is not relevant to your goal. I mean, it's good to get good sleep, and sleep is important for overall health and all of that. But if your main goal is to lose weight, by choosing a goal like trying to sleep better, that may not be the best way to go about losing weight, right? You want to choose something that is relevant to your bigger goal. Okay. Time bound, we talked about already. It's good to have an end date that you can always extend it, but you want to start out with an end date knowing that you just have to commit for a short period of time. Really helps. And then that way you can go from there, take it 1 day at a time. All right. So now that you have set your goal, so you have set a goal, you know that the goal is you're focusing on one primary goal at once and you're committing to it. You're thinking about a goal that in terms of it's a long-term plan. You're thinking about it long-term, although you're planning for the short term. So you're thinking about a goal that you can continue to do long-term when you're choosing the goal, and then you're planning for short term. And then lastly, you're written it down in the SMART format. You're specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's relevant, it's time bound. Next step is do it now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't procrastinate. Just go ahead and do it. All the conditions don't have to be perfect. You can just go ahead and start doing it right away so that you have the greatest chance of being successful. So start today, whatever that you've decided to do. All right. So if you are in the Houston area and you're looking for a doctor to help you with your health goals, a doctor that is proactive about your health, check us out in Touch Primary Care. If you want to get to know us first, that's fine. You can schedule a one-time detailed evaluation by selecting a per-visit consultation. Find out more details on our website, www.intouchprimarycare.com. Your health is too important to rush. It's too important to ignore. You need your health to enjoy doing what you love, so prioritize your health today. If you know anyone that needs this, please share this episode with them. And thank you for watching, and see you next week at 2:15 p.m. on Facebook. Thank you.